Lead together, embrace change, enhance everyone's journey. The 3 core principles of SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate across North America, reinforce why we're proud to bring you SheEO Lead-In, the podcast featuring curated conversations with powerful women sharing their impactful wisdom. It's a self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-preneurship audio storage vault created by and for women. SmartStop's presentation of SheEO Lead-In begins right now.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Leading-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO Lead-In. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. So today we're with Leia Brune, the Executive Director of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, San Diego.
Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing really great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm really excited that I wore pink today because I'm just on brand for you, aren't I?
You're more on brand than I am today, so I'm loving that.
It's amazing. So thank you for what you do. And we really appreciate everything that the foundation does. I mean, you know, my mom and my aunt actually both have breast cancer. They're both survivors. And I just love that you guys have changed the narrative on what it is to talk about breast cancer.
Yeah, so being a 43-year-old organization, starting as a grassroots movement, has really allowed us to just let our communities voice what the needs are, and then take that and move that into our mission of how we deliver our mission and our vision of a world without breast cancer now. So there's a lot that we've accomplished, but there's still a lot more that we need to do. So we're still in the fight.
So what does a day look like in your business? I'm imagining it's got to be pretty different every day.
It is absolutely different every day, and throughout the year as well. So right now it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we are just incredibly busy in a good way. This is when a lot of folks put a lot of highlight and focus on breast cancer awareness and breast health messaging. So we're really busy talking to people, going to events, supporting folks that are wanting to get involved with Komen. And then throughout the year, a typical day is just going out, engaging with our community. That's what my team does here in San Diego. And, our job is just to educate, raise awareness, provide resources to people that need it. So it could look anything like delivering care packages to a treatment center, or meeting with potential corporate partners for support of our events, to just chatting with donors and expressing our appreciation on a daily basis for those that support us.
Yeah, I think just the awareness part is so different than it used to be because there isn't that stigma. I think you guys have been such a game changer. I don't know about the rest of the country, but here in San Diego, I'm a San Diego native, just watching and seeing everything that you have done. So I'm a little older than 43. And I really, honestly, I can't even remember when you were out, when your organization was not out and talking about breast cancer, which I love that.
Yeah, so that was how we started, like I mentioned, the grassroots of just spreading awareness. Susan G. Komen died so young from metastatic breast cancer, and her family was just so affected by the stigma of not talking about it. So that was their goal, was to raise the awareness and just let people know that if this is a disease that you can die from, you need to talk about it and understand what it is in order to, catch it early and prevent it if you can.
Yeah, prevention is the big key, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your childhood. Let's go back, Leia. Is there something that you could share with us that maybe no one knows about you that's kind of a fun story?
Oh my goodness. Well, some people might know this, but I grew up in a very rural area of
Where?
Florida.
Okay.
In the Panhandle. So, very country lifestyle, playing outside all day, drinking out of the water hose, playing in the woods with my brothers. And I grew up with 5 older brothers. And that was just something I think that really shaped me to be adventurous.
Yeah.
And it is a part of the spirit that I continue to attack life in today.
So the baby girl got to hang out with the brothers. That's so fun. And I drank out of the hose too.
I think it was like part of that lifestyle back then, in
For
the
sure.
80s. But,
for sure.
But yeah, there was a time whenever I remember being strung up by my feet to a tree and left to hang for a couple of hours and wasn't cut down until my mom had to come out and find me and wonder why I wasn't coming to lunch. And so those are the kind of fun shenanigans.
That's the story.
that I do have memories of. And it's just really kind of, it's all fun and in good humor, I guess, at this point. But I'm sure I was a little upset about it back then.
The 5 older brothers and their shenanigans.
Yeah.
I love that. That's hilarious. Okay, so what is one word that describes you best?
Courageous.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been called stupidly courageous, but
well,
courageous.
Hey, there's a healthy courageous, and then, there's a off the rails and you're unsafe. It doesn't seem like you seem well put together. I think it's healthy
Never broken
courage.
a bone. So,
Oh, there you go. That's healthy courageous then. So how long have you been in your current career?
I've been in nonprofit since I started my career over 20 years ago. I graduated during the Great Recession, and I could not find a job in the role that I was having my degree in. And so I just started working part-time at a historic stage theater in my hometown in Pensacola, Florida. And that led me to be connected with a lot of the performing arts community in our town. And I was able to get in with the symphony and the opera and just really kind of dig in, get on committees for events and learn more about just the performing arts there. And then just, like I said, just going into that and then started working with that, and then kind of that led me to work for the local PBS station, doing their events and supporting their membership. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just working at a TV station, you're kind of in that like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So that's just been something that really just providing a service to the community. That's part of my core values is just being helpful. So that's something that I really I kind of dug into and enjoyed that. And then I found that I had a pretty good skill for it as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you move to San Diego?
In 2016, I moved to San Diego. Throughout many, ups and downs in life, I had just had a transition and was ready for something new. I had visited several times and just fell in love with the city. And so on one of my last visits, I just started applying for jobs out here and was not expecting that to go so quickly, but I was, interviewed on a Tuesday, was offered the job on a Thursday, and started packing my car on a Friday.
Wow.
And so I drove across the country and started work on Monday.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, what job was that?
So I worked for the Naval Helicopter Association.
Okay.
It's a membership organization that supports anyone in the helicopter military community.
Wow.
And so I was doing their membership and website and social media. So just doing all of their events as well. And that was just a really fun job. I had a connection from that world, and they were the ones that helped me get the job. And so it was really fun. I worked on North Island. It was just a beautiful driving across the Coronado Bridge
hard to live in Coronado. Yes.
It's so beautiful. And
there.
it was just something that was, I lived downtown. I wanted that whole, downtown lifestyle that I'd never had before. So I lived in a high rise and quickly learned that was not my lifestyle, but that's okay. We all have to do it at least once, but it was incredible to have that experience be my first experience in San Diego.
Yeah. Nice. So, how do you measure success? Because I feel like, it's hard to, when you're at a nonprofit, it's a little bit different than a regular traditional job. But how do you measure success?
So in our role, we're community engagement and fundraising. So it's twofold, right? We have goals of fundraising that we need to hit every year, and we want to motivate and inspire our community to help us meet those goals. but it's also spreading awareness and providing resources. So those two are one's a little more tangible.
Yeah.
If we raise the money or not, but the other is just making sure that we're doing everything we can just to continue to build a really strong network here in San Diego. And I think the measure of that, it's not directly, it doesn't directly result in the effort that is given in the moment. So it can be something that you're, like I'm sure just you're engaging with folks, you're going to networking events, you're having conversations with people, and it could take years for any type of, success to come to fruition from that, whether it be, making sure that somebody has shared your information so a newly diagnosed patient could get resources. That's success to me, right? I've done that like 4 times this week. Being able to send a card to someone, just knowing that, they've been re-diagnosed. That's something that staying in touch with people and then being there as a support system for them. So all of that to me is, building that strong network is also that success.
So you're the fundraiser and the cheerleader all in one.
Oh, well, yeah, I think, like I said, it's a very specific skill set.
Mental support system for folks. And that is important because, it's very scary when you have cancer. And, pardon me for not knowing this, but do you talk to a lot of people about how healthy eating actually helps with when you have cancer? I don't know if you've talked about that too much.
We don't go into too much detail, but part about Komen's breast health messaging is to lead a healthy lifestyle. And I think that can look different for everyone, but obviously, like anyone that can reduce their anything overweight, obesity,
inflammation, all of that.
All of those. And then I think it's just a natural tendency for anyone that's going through something like cancer to seek out any and every tool that they can have at their disposal to reduce the impact of that on their life, right? So it is like, okay, if I shouldn't drink because it will, sugar could help the cancer grow, then there's no alcohol. Right. No additional sugar added to my diet. And so those are all things that people normally do. So we definitely encourage that. But, talking to your own healthcare team, a nutritionist, making sure that you're still getting everything you need. But that's so important.
Well, so let's talk about balance, life balance, because it's a crazy thing. I always feel like sometimes I'm doing very well and other times, oh my gosh, I'm failing miserably. So let's talk a little bit about that. How do you find balance, or do you?
I do. And I think that that's something, it takes a while to really find your own because you can't model it off of anyone else's just because we're all unique in how we approach life. One thing at Komen that I really appreciate is that we have an unlimited PTO policy, and we also have a really generous given holiday schedule as well. So it's encouraged, and there's no punishment. There's a little bit of that, a lot of emails to come back to, but it really is celebrated when we take time off to do the things that fill our soul, that we can recharge and come back really renewed and ready to take on the job again. Right. Just recently, I went to Peru to hike the Inca Trail. I was gone for 11 days. And so I think 14 days from work. And so that's where I'm really just leaning into being able to take time for myself and do the things that really do make me feel back to my, I've got recharged. I'm ready to go again. I want to sit in an office and work on documents so I can help people. But the Wanderlust helps keep that balance going, though.
I love that. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about barriers, because when you get recharged, you come back and you've got full gusto, but we also have barriers. So let's talk a little bit about that. What are your most significant barriers?
Barriers in terms of professional?
being a woman in leadership. I would imagine, and I don't know this, is your organization mostly women, or is it I would assume that it would be.
It is. And I think that's a unique perspective that we get to have in our workforce at Komen. It is. I don't know the exact number because staffing is always changing, but I would say upwards of 90% women. It is something that we do actively seek out, a variety of voices to help us kind of, create that
Balance.
visions and everything.
Balance.
Right.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you need that input from really diverse groups of people. And also the lived experience of the patient is also really important. So we take all of that into account. I think the barriers that we face just sometimes are getting information to people, right? I feel limited in that in some ways because there's so much noise going on in the world.
Yeah.
And while every cause is important and everything, social events and every disease and anything that's happening is so important, here in California, we have the wildfires.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can feel like, well, our cause is so important. We need to spread this messaging and this news right now where, it doesn't take precedent. And that's where the messaging, I think, can be a barrier for us. I think I mentioned earlier, we're a small team.
Yeah.
It's a team of 3.
Oh,
so
wow.
here in San Diego for our community engagement team, that's our barrier, is just not having enough voice, not having enough presence. And so that's where we really lean into our dedicated volunteers.
I was just going to say, you have to volunteer more.
Yes, I need to delegate. So yeah, it is. And but that's part of our job, is to just see that as the barrier and then turn that into an opportunity.
Right.
And that's where it's like, well, there's a lot of opportunity for folks to come help us, and people love to help. And that's what, I think that we've really leaned into that. We have an incredible just pool of volunteers and, people that are our team captains and supporters and committee members that really want to see us succeed and want to continue help spreading the message. So that's, how we try to see past the barrier.
Awesome. So we're going to take a little smart stop for our sponsor today.
SmartStop knows the winning connection is when we elevate success together. SmartStop Self Storage, a California company with nearly 200 properties and over 15 million square feet of rentable storage in the US and Canada, is committed to positively impacting the communities we serve on the national and local level. By aligning our core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey with local initiatives focused on education, health, and social welfare, we all elevate together. Through financial and strategic partnerships with nonprofits and prestigious organizations such as Cloudcast Media, Arrow McLaren IndyCar, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, USC Athletics, the Brampton Steelheads, MMA fighters and boxers, and other unique athletes, we aim to foster a sense of unity and pride within the communities we serve, creating a shared identity and generating a positive atmosphere. To learn more about our core values, our locations, and career opportunities, please visit us at smartstopselfstorage.com. SmartStop, elevating success together.
So one thing about volunteers, how can people sign up and get more involved? Because I know that there are a lot of people, and you kind of mentioned telling more people, informing more people. Always the grassroots is the way to get things actually done. And of course, we want people to get out and get their mammograms. And this month, being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think it's really important. But how can people join the movement?
So you can find out everything about Komen in San Diego at komensandiego.org. And
Great.
So that's got all of our upcoming events, any campaigns that you can get involved with that you might be interested in. It has a link to our Komen website with all of our breast cancer and breast health messaging and resources.
Yep.
And then there's a link there at the bottom to volunteer.
Great. So let's talk about role models and people that have helped shape your leadership style. Who can you point to that say they really helped me, they saved me, they encouraged me?
Yeah, I could say specifically, I think when I was really young, my grandmother was someone that she was so successful and just so determined in everything that she did, and a little bit of a type A. And I learned some of that from her and myself. And that was just something that really inspired me to continue, just never giving up. And always trying to better myself and to take it to the next level. In her late 40s, she went back to school and got her PhD in education.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then went on and worked in the school system until she retired in her 70s. And so that's something that, the impact and how much she had accomplished was really inspiring to me. And she was a role model. I would say more recently, I have, it's cliche to say, but my boss.
Yeah.
She is just somebody that tackles the job with a lot of compassion and like a very human approach. And
it's good. It's definitely good, especially because people are scared, I think, when they're reaching out to the organization.
Yeah, and
it's
one of those where we have this saying, and then you have teams that really embody it, and she embodies leading with our mission.
Yeah, I love
and it's
that.
something that it just reminds me on a daily basis to do the same.
No.
So it's kind of more of that, like she's a daily motivator. So
that's amazing. Yeah. All right, so lessons learned.
Okay.
You walk into a room and you want to share some wisdom with some young ladies to help them understand what you do, and if it's interesting to them, how they could, and being that you've been in the nonprofit space, how can they find their own place in that?
Specifically for nonprofit, I think it has to be creative. The more creative you are in solving a problem or bringing a vision to life, the more accepted it will be, and kind of thinking outside the box.
Oh, I was just going to say that. You read my mind.
Oh, yeah. See, we're on the same wavelength.
I think we are. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, something like that I think is just really appreciated in the nonprofit world. I think being resourceful is, relationships are at the core of everything we do. It's what drives our mission. We want to save relationships. We want to save mothers and grandmothers and daughters so they can continue having relationships. And so that's part of that mission for us. And so when you focus on relationships, it's kind of that old saying, it's about who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
But it is true in every sense of that, people want to help you whenever they like you and they know you.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you share part of yourself with them and create a really authentic relationship, I think that's something that will really help you in the long run in any industry that you're in. So
when you go out and you're talking, and we did talk about this a little bit earlier, you're on the news quite a bit. So a lot of people would feel very uncomfortable being in front of a camera, on the news, knowing that it's live. Do you want to share something about that? Because that is part of your job. Did you know that walking in?
I did know that walking in. I was in a couple of roles leading up to this role before I took it, so I did know what was expected. I think one of the tips that I got from a colleague was, you're the subject matter expert.
Yeah.
And you do know everything. And so that's all you have to do is just talk to what you know. And that helped me feel more at ease. And I think, the job, typically, I would say maybe in my role more so than others or possibly yours, is that, people want to highlight and showcase the good that we're doing in our organization. And so they try to make it easy for us to share that. And even if we stumble a little bit on a talking point or we mess up a word or anything like that, I think that that's just something that they help us along with. So it's been a pretty easy transition. I feel really comfortable with it now. And just don't look at the camera.
Well, and you know what? So back to your point. So I too am on the news sometimes. And I think that the world needs more positivity and more good things. I mean, it's such a very strange time, in my opinion, just out there. There's so much anger and caused, this division that is, I think it's unprecedented. I've never seen it in my life like this. And I always tell people, hey, listen, you want to complain about it, be part of the solution. And the part of the solution is, you've got to be positive, and you have to bring something to the table that's positive in whatever your career is. No matter what it is, you can bring something good to the table that's positive and hopeful and bringing, some good to even, a lot of your clients are probably very scared. And I don't blame them, but there's so much hope in all of the new technology. Medicine has changed so much, and it changes a lot, even within a 5-year time frame.
Oh, absolutely.
You have probably stats on that, but even I know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just the way that things are changing, if you have a positive attitude, your health outcomes are so much better. There are so many benefits from just being positive and kind to others. So maybe you want to talk about that, because you probably have stats that I can't even begin to know.
It truly is. And it's something that I just embody and want to live a life personally that is focused on positivity and just, seeing the bright side of life type of mentality where, I'm always just confident that when you do that, you're leading with the best, I would say just you're leading with the best qualities that are going to, like that law of attraction, you're going to bring in a lot more. And then that's whenever things open up for people, like you mentioned that their positive mindset helps with the healing.
It does.
And then just kind of having that positive focus. So, like at Komen, we've accomplished quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But we don't want to only focus on that positivity. We want to focus on the positivity of like all the people that help us get here, right?
Yeah.
All the researchers, all of the participants in our events, all of our supporters, all of our volunteers, like focusing on the positive aspect that they put into our work is just really where it's like you're kind of lifting everyone up. So that's where we would just like put a focus on that and just make sure to continue bringing that to everyone. Like you mentioned, people are really scared and worried whenever they're with a diagnosis or a loved one is with a diagnosis. So if we can provide that calming, everything's going to work out. We're going to get you there. We're going to be with you every step of the way, and letting them know, and then showing up and doing it is exactly how,
do what you say.
Exactly. Following 100%. Through on that.
Yeah.
We also when you say that right now, I have two people that came to mind. One is our honorary survivor for our big event this year, our More Than Pink Walk. Mm-hmm. And she's 32 years old when she was diagnosed earlier this year. And, I found her just on social media because she lives in San Diego and she's posting these incredibly positive, uplifting messages on social media because she knows that that's going to help her get through it.
Yeah.
And then we have someone that's diagnosed with metastatic disease. And, it's a constant journey for her from this point on. Sure. But she knows that she's going to have a longer, better quality of life if she just focuses on the positive things. She puts her faith in her family. Yeah. And that's just where it's like, I just think about people like that are going through so much struggle and hardship. And I can't, it's easy for me just to show up in a positive light, right? So, yeah.
Well, and then you're also going a step further because you're actually helping her share that story, which is so inspirational to other women. I mean, 32 years old. What a devastating news, I can't even imagine that. But for her to be able to share her story and then her positive outcome and her positivity and all of that, you helping with that is huge. Yeah. So thank you. It really is. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. Because, those are people that we all need to rally around, and they will help others. I always say this, when you give back and you do something for other people, you actually also get a lot for yourself on top of it. So it's like a win-win.
There's some psychology to that.
There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it creates this atmosphere and this, these conditions where there can be more positivity because everyone's feeling it. It's contagious.
Oh, when you come to one of our events, our big event,
I think I need to. I definitely need to.
It is. There's an energy. Yeah. There's an atmosphere. And it is because everybody's there for the same cause.
Yeah.
And everybody has the same spirit, of that hope and inspiration and wanting to do something, to take action, to make a difference. And so that's where I really feel that, kind of being that spark that lights the fire in our community is that comes from me, and I have to keep that alive.
Thank you so much for sharing that on that positive note. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate everything that you said. Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
The incredible curated SheEO conversation you just enjoyed was brought to you by SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate and a company that upholds its core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey. To learn more about SmartStop, please visit smartstopselfstorage.com.
Cloudcast Media.